Hello and welcome back to Football Scrutiny. Today we're going to be analysing the game between Tottenham Hotspurs and Bayern Munich. 2-7 the result. Let's get into it. Tottenham started with the 4-4-2 diamond formation. Kane and Son up front, Ali just behind them, the three of Winks, Ndombele and Sissoko in midfield. At the back, Rose, Vertonghen, Alderweireld and Aurier. Bayern Munich with their 4-2-3-1, Pavard, Soulé, Boateng, Alaba, Kimmich, Tolisso, the two hard-working midfielders. Then on the wings, Coman and Gnabry, quick, powerful wingers, able to beat players in the 1-against-1. Coutinho, clever in between the lines, and then the legendary Lewandowski up front. So the tactics during the game: Bayern worked really hard in the centre midfield with Tolisso and Kimmich. They often tried to allow the ball to come into Winks and then press him as quickly as possible, with the Tottenham defenders open and the fullbacks trying to gain width. Often they were able to find themselves winning the ball back in the middle of the pitch, taking the ball off Winks and creating opportunities. On the wings, there was often a 2-against-1 situation, so Bayern Munich were always able to play out from these situations and make the most of these really powerful wingers which they've got in Coman and Gnabry. Coutinho would often drop to the sides of Harry Winks, allowing Bayern Munich to play into these channels and play out from the back. Okay, so in the first few minutes of the game, Tottenham played with a really high line. Often Bayern were able to play balls in behind. Here, this is an example with Gnabry, the ball over the top, left with a 1-against-1 situation. 2 minutes later, ball over the top to Coutinho. That high line causing Tottenham problems in the first few minutes. And again, another ball over the top to Lewandowski. This ball was intercepted, but we can start to see the problems which were developing. Tottenham did have their chances though in the first few minutes before they scored the goal. Here Sissoko picks the ball up and plays the ball into Son. And I just want to highlight how clever this movement is from Harry Kane, moving away from the ball. Alaba is now facing away from the ball carrier and moving away. Therefore Sissoko's got space to move into, and he makes a great pass into Son and he's able to have a shot on goal. Unlucky not to make it 1-0 that early. Here Bayern make a poor clearance. Sissoko pounces onto it and makes a great ball through into Son. But I just want to highlight the movement of Ali. He's moved out of this position. Soulé comes with him, leaving the space for Son to break into that space which he's just left. And Harry Kane's position is also worth a mention, that it prevents Boateng and Alaba from moving in and closing that gap, allowing Son the space to move in and have a shot. Kane again moving in towards the second post, and Tottenham were unable to make a finish, but also good movement there from Ali moving in towards the penalty spot. Any rebound there and they've got a good chance of putting it into the net. Okay, so here's the first goal. Tottenham pressure high. Soulé tries to play the ball in Tolisso, and when the ball comes across, Sissoko pounces on it. Bayern lose the possession close to their own goal, and this is where they're able to make that through ball into Son due to the position of Soulé, leaving him onside, and Son then attacks it into the net. So have a quick look at that. Here we can see the pressure from Son. Kane also pressuring, so when the ball breaks through, Sissoko is able to pick it up. And look at the back four from Bayern Munich, all over the place, and a brilliant run from Son and a perfectly timed pass from Sissoko puts Son in 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he's able to make a finish. 1-0 Tottenham. The first Bayern goal, as we talked about with the systems of that 4-4-2 diamond, lots of space on the wings for the fullbacks from Bayern Munich. Here Kimmich is able to play the ball out, and this is what initiates the first goal from Bayern Munich. They're able to play out of that pressure with 6 players in the middle of the pitch, plays it out wide. Okay, so here we can see the amount of space that Pavard's got in the wing, so when the ball comes out they're able to play out quite easily. Move forward up the pitch with a long pass into Gnabry, and then Tottenham just don't defend the edge of the box. They've got 3 players who have left up front, and Kimmich and Tolisso were able to pick up the ball on the edge of the box, and to be fair, it's an amazing finish. Okay, so here's that space that we talked about on the edge of the box. Ball comes out to Kimmich, and to be fair, he's hit that from 25 yards. But that's how the first goal came about, from that system of lots of space down the wing for Bayern to play out from. Second goal was a throw-in which Tottenham just didn't clear, gave too much space to Lewandowski on the edge of the box. He's able to turn and finish. 2-1 to Bayern. Third goal. Here Tottenham tried to press on the wing. The ball's passed down into Pavard. Son jumps out to him. But look at Coutinho. Coutinho's going to drag Dombele out of position, allowing Pavard and Gnabry to make a 1-2. Dragging the fullback out of position, leaving space behind him. They play the 1-2 into that space. And now this leaves a 3-against-3 situation at the back, which Gnabry took it all the way himself and made a great finish. Okay, so here's that movement which I talked about from Coutinho, dragging Dombele out of position. A 1-2 from Pavard and Gnabry, and Rose coming out of position there, leaves the space behind him for that 1-2. Ball into the space, leaving a 3-against-3 at the back. And Gnabry moving in on his own, cutting inside and able to finish. And that was 3-1. 4-1, the pain continued for Tottenham. Here, Spurs tried to play out from the back, but with all these bodies in the middle, as we mentioned before, they would wait for the ball to come into Harry Winks, jump to press him, and when they win the possession back, they've got an overload against the Tottenham defence, and a ball into Gnabry, and he's able to finish. Okay, so here's that pass into Harry Winks. Harry Winks, a little bit immature really, thinking that he can turn in the middle of the pitch without looking, loses possession, and then Tolisso plays the ball into Gnabry. But I just want to highlight poor body position from Van der Vaart. He should leave that ball for Vertonghen. Vertonghen is coming out to press Tolisso. Van der Vaart to stay with Gnabry. He's poorly positioned and lets him get past him. And Rose should be coming inside to Lewandowski, because if the ball then comes out to the wing, he can then move out to try and stop it. But poor from Van der Vaart. And that's 4-1 to Bayern Munich. And a great finish from Gnabry. Tottenham did get back into it with a penalty, which we're not going to look at. Let's move on to the fifth goal from Bayern Munich. Okay, so the ball now in their own half from Bayern. But look at Tottenham pushing up really, really high, leaving that high line again, which you mentioned in the first 5 minutes. And you just can't do it. If there's no pressure on the ball, Rose has got to be aware that that ball is coming over the top. And he can't get beaten, and he does. We can see that the Tottenham players are paired up, pressing really high, leaving that ball over the top. Here we can see they're pairing up, almost 1-against-1, marking in the opposition half. And there with Gnabry and the fullback, loads of space for him to just play that ball over the top, and Gnabry runs on and finishes. Sixth goal from Bayern. Again, trying to play the ball through the middle into dangerous positions when you've got an overload of players. This ball should just come over the top, but it doesn't. It tries to play it through. Here we can see the ball being circulated around the defence, and we can see that there's loads of players in there from Bayern. So when they lose possession here, you've got 6 players in the opponent's half, and you've only got 4 of yours, with a potential 6-against-4 counter-attack. As it happens, it ends up with more or less a 3-against-3. And this ball coming into Coutinho, I cannot stress enough the world-class touch of Coutinho, waiting for Lewandowski just to pull off away from the centre-back, and that pass comes into him, is perfectly placed, and Lewandowski makes it 6-2. Final goal, again trying to play their way through, lots of Bayern players around the ball. Here we can see when that ball is played in, we've got 5 players working together to hunt the ball down in that part of the pitch. So when the ball comes into the fullback, they try and cut out this pass into Eriksen. They do, and then it's just a delightful pass through the back line from Tottenham, and Gnabry moves in to make it 7. A little bit harsh on Tottenham last 5 minutes of the game, conceding 3 goals. Tottenham weren't as bad as what the scoreline suggests. However, Bayern were just clinical.